Good evening, listeners, one and all. Welcome to round two of Ascent, hosted by Amateur Oceanic Esports and sponsored by My Republic Gamer. I'm Peronius. Joining me tonight is from Temporal. We've got some great matches coming up, but what can we expect tonight, my friend?
I'm expecting top level Overwatch from the teams we have. We are starting in Division 2 with a match between God Mode and Kraken Academy before moving on later in the night to Division 1, where we'll see Spoiled Milk take on Smooth Brain. And as you said, this is round 2 of Ascent. Ascent is a grassroots tournament hosted for the Tier 3 and Tier 4 OCE scene. And these teams are competing for their share of a $500 prize pool provided by our sponsor, My Republic.
Stay home with the number one broadband provider for gaming. My Republic offers fixed broadband plans and services that provide ultra-low, ultra-stable latency connections, optimizing your gameplay experience. Enjoy exciting privileges, special gaming offers, and exclusive access to specialized gamer perks.
In addition to My Republic, we'd also like to thank our generous contributing members of the community who have supported AOE and with some fantastic donations which allow us to keep Ascent running. And those special people are Splash, Apollo, and Bloodborne. So thank you very much for everything you've contributed. And before we get into tonight's match, Peronius, let's talk a little bit about what we saw last week. We kicked it off with Division 3, a match between Suck and East Coast Convicts. And this match went down to the wire. Suck came out in the first half. They walked all over it. They were sitting on match point. East Coast Convicts brought it back. It was a very, very quick map 3 and 4. And in the end, Suck was able to hold off the reverse sweep, but it did take them all the way on Busan to get the job done.
Absolutely, coming right down to that best of 5 there. Or best of 3, rather. Well, first of 3, best of 5. I had it right the first time and I confused myself. But those control maps always such an important one for those deciding factors. And so in the end, the team that is best on control will often come out in those sorts of close matches as a result.
Indeed they will. And we'll see if the teams tonight can match Suck's success to coming away with the W, or if they can go one step further and maybe do it a little easier. We will see. But the first match is between God Mode and Kraken Academy, and we've got 2 different stories coming out of the first week. God Mode played against Reboot, and their first match was a relatively clean, at least judging by the scoreboard, 3-0.
Yeah, meanwhile, if we look at the other one...
Kraken Academy versus Stratos.
Yeah, definitely a lot more there, but we'll come back to that one later in the evening because we will be heading into Nepal for our first map of the evening here. As these 2 teams get in, it will be God Mode versus Kraken Academy. And, what can we say about these 2 teams? As you said, God Mode came through last week with a 3-0 victory. Kraken Academy going down 3-2 against Stratos Elements. But you can't really count them out here. Kraken have been an org in the region for a while, and some of these players are definitely names we've come to know and respect over the last year or so. So definitely not a slouch.
Speaking of names who know, let's introduce the teams. For the side of Kraken Academy, we have Star, Tamagoyaki, Lana Winters, Mother Chibai, Odos Pirate, and R. McNatty. And for the side of God Mode, representing them tonight is Aprilla999, Royal Eskimo, Tiger Bro, Cat's Got a Job, Chungli, and Kwasa.
Yeah, and it looks like a bit of an interesting matchup here as they're rolling out. We're seeing what is been a long time meta comp for a long time on the side of God Mode here with the May Reaper comp. Meanwhile, we've got the Echo on the other side who's actually split off from the rest of the team there, but seems to be getting away with it as Tiger Bro puts in some damage there from the flank.
Yeah, good wall at the start of that fight. Natty kept God Mode hemmed into the room. Another great wall is going to see half the team split off. The tanks, though, Sugly, Cops are beating. The Sigma's able to get, Quasa's able to get away thanks to the rest of the team breaking down that wall, but it means Kraken Academy is going to take first possession of the point.
Yeah, very slow capture because both teams worrying about each other's positioning there. Kraken had the opportunity, they had the positioning, but they were hesitant to send someone there with this comp still ready to pounce on them. So it's not until after that fight that they send someone to capture the point. Now we will have the retake coming through.
The fact that it took them so long to get the point means Odos Pirate has the Earth Shatter available. Goes down, forces the Immortality Field to be invested by Aprilla, who then follows up with an Amplification Matrix, and it's going to put to great use. Godmode steamrolling over this defensive effort from Kraken Academy. They're going to march onto the point and start capturing it for themselves.
Yeah, it's a decisive fight win. All 6 members still up as the point gets flipped. You can't be unhappy with that one whatsoever if you are a fan of God Mode here. And with that, it will go over at 36%. They're going to take advantage of this high ground position now. And look at the ultimates they've got online as well. Not only did they win that with all 6 members alive, but they won it cheap.
Indeed, just the Amplification Matrix invested in. They're opening it with a rally. They'll not, need that armor right now, but it's going to make them so hard to kill as the Bob on the field. Or Eskimo throws him across this. You know what? Do something. And Armagaddy's the first victim of the fight. There's a graffiti flux on the point, and that is just going to ensure that the cleanup is there. The Earth Shatter not even required from Trinity, but different style points.
Yeah, a bit of a late shatter in there that they may wish they had back, but yeah, they went from having all of the ultimates to none of them as they invest so heavily in there. That said, Armagaddy seems to have accidentally dropped their Blizzard in spawn, so not exactly a great turnaround there either.
Sometimes you just think, you know what, see if I can listen to my own team. They're going a bit slow, just make them a bit slower. Anyway, that's a nice wall from Armagaddy. He's trapped a few members of God Mode against it, and the sound barrier in support from Lana is going to ensure that Kraken Academy is able to take opposition on the point and get the kills they need. This roll comp is working out for them. Another cheap by firing away with those Hellfire shotguns. We'll see the point recaptured. That's God Mode built up to 69%.
Yeah, really good fight there actually coming through. Even with the Death Blossom actually getting stunned out the moment it was pulled out, didn't end up mattering in the long run as they managed to clean up quite convincingly. So, got to be pretty happy with the outcome of that one.
Particularly if you've got that Earth Shatter and Self-Destruct in tow. 2 good tank ultimates, one for lying the other team down, the other for creating space where required. There might be an opportunity now for Kraken Academy to combine the two. The wall will be the first item invested. The self-destruct goes out, doesn't get any kills. Tiger Bro takes Lana Witness out of the fight. That's the speed and AoE healing gone for the side of Kraken Academy. Now the Brawl has moved to this top part of the map where Quasa's picked up 2 kills. Tiger Bro with the 2nd kill of their own in this fight. God Mode reasserting themselves. They're marching back onto the point. They don't want Kraken Academy to get anywhere near that 99% mark.
Yeah, that said, at 87%, the flip is a little later than you would like because at this point you've kind of got to hold on to that point now for the rest of the match. That said, with their own percentage ticking up above 80%, we're basically heading into last fight territory in this next fight. And ultimate advantage, you have to say, is looking on the side of God Mode here. But, I mean, we've seen Kraken make it happen with less before. Let's see if they can pull that off again.
Let's go. We'll have the Bob in tow, and Bob can contest the point, as he will do now. He marches across, gets a little uppercut on them, as the wall is trying to cut off the front line of Godbone. It does a good job. Mother Chipwai comes over the top with the Death Blossom, takes 2 out, picks up another 2 off the back of that. That is a fantastic piece of turnabout play for Kraken Academy. Now they have the point. They're at 90%, and they need to clean up here. If they can get that done, they may well take the point right now.
It's looking very good for them here. It's sort of desperation territory, trying to get any touch on there. Wrecking Ball manages to roll on through just in time, but Quasa doesn't stay on that point. And the Burning Wick just barely... We have the Echo getting in for the touch on time, but this is really looking like a cleanup territory here. They're not really getting anything done here other than buying time.
The overtime still going, so the stall is coming up phenomenally for God Mode, but they're just not getting any kills off the back of it. Kraken Academy content to let them run at them one by one, beating their heads against the wall, and even though they might be buying themselves a little bit of time to get back, they're just donating ultimate charge to Kraken Academy. In the end, as Odo's Pirate will show off. It's Kraken Academy. That was still a tough round for them, but they're at the advantage so far on the pole.
Yeah, I mean, we said coming into that last fight, they were at a disadvantage, but, you know, we could make it we've seen them make it happen, and they managed to make it happen once again, proving that they don't need ultimates. Their team play is just that good that they can win these fights without them.
Indeed, and it's really impressive for this team. You mentioned it sort of before, the Kraken Academy is names we know around the scene. But Odos Pirate's actually a new player on the team. They were previously on the Constellation Oberon team in Division 3. So their persistence has paid off. They've been grinding it hard on the main tank, and they've been promoted to a new team in Division 2. And so far, it looks like it's going well for them.
Yeah, good opening performance there from that main tank. It is such a crucial position as well. So it's really good to see that they've come into the team quite well, and everyone's moving very well around them here in the early stages. And these control maps are perhaps a bit brawlier, and so the real test of like the new roster will come in some of these later maps where the set plays really become a piece.
Interesting setup on the point. The Orisa going down onto the point for Kraken, while the Sigma on the side of Godmo, but in the end it will be the front line of Godmo falling. Oh no, Odos Pirate, where are you going? You're supposed to stay on the point. Cat's got a job, just giving him a lift in the pit, but in the end, Kraken Academy still has the numbers available.
Yeah, nice whip shot there, and it's not often you can get that sort of CC on the Orisa, because obviously she has the Fortify ability, but not available at this point in time, and that's sort of a sad thing to have happen there. But still, the reset needed to come through anyways. It will now be another chance to try and get this push going forwards. Meanwhile, Kraken looking to hold off this push.
Star going a little bit further forward, got stunned, but able to get away with their life. So much healing coming through from Lana Winters on this Baptiste. So much so that the amplification matrix already ready, which will be used to counter Aprilla's. Put up in the backline, didn't quite get anything doing it. Oh, Star picks up a double kill with the accretion of all things. Followed up by a Dragon, which doesn't really need to do anything now that the Sigma has cleaned up.
Yeah, that's gonna see another reset coming through. We're already at almost 50% here on the clock. So it's looking like this one is proving much harder to break in, but McNatty going down there, maybe the opening they're looking for.
Indeed it might. You lost your Hanzo, you lost all that shield pressure. They get the trade in Royal Eskimo, so that's a nice even trade. Oh, the accretion! Lana Winters falls off the edge! What a play by Quasar. They move in. The counter-gravitic flux comes out from the start just to stall this advance, and right now we're seeing, the Godmo far too split up to make any more progress.
Yeah, and that Baptiste is just getting staggered out in here. They eventually mercifully put him out of his misery, but at 80%, there's really going to be only one more chance to try and take this point away. Otherwise, this map's going to be going over to Kraken.
That'd be rather cruel for Godmo. They put up a really good fight on Village. It'd be a shame that they didn't get any percentage here on Sanctum, but the changing composition seems to really suit Kraken right now. This Orisa Sigma, it's a very bunkery, very fixed composition. Godmo goes around there, so no one touched. Godmo, they were so close, but they timed it wrong. Kraken Academy taking away Nepal.
Yeah, and that's, well, I mean, after such a hard-fought first round, it's weird to see such a one-sided match there in Sanctum, but great performance there coming through from Kraken Academy. It's going to put them up in this series, but still plenty of opportunities to come back from this one yet. And we'll be heading over to one of a number of different maps for our next round. They'll have the choice between Eichenwald, Numbani, and King's Row.
And given that they fared relatively well when they were playing the Orion Sigma composition, but not so much for the Orisa Sigma, do you feel that they're going to stray away from maps that would benefit an Orisa tank setup from Kraken?
You'd think so, maybe, yeah. That definitely would make sense, but suppose the question does become where. I mean, King's Row has long been a favorite, so if you're wanting to play Reinhardt, that's surely where you go. But, well, we'll have to wait and see where they want to take this one.
I feel like Numbani could also be a great choice. You've got, particularly point A, there's a lot of high ground. Yeah, you can have a Orisa on defense, but from an attacking perspective, it opens up a bit more. If you play dive, you have to get up and down.
Yeah, I mean, both Numbani and Eichenwald. I mean, Eichenwald is such a unique map because all three stages of the map basically ask for a completely different composition. So it really can put teams through the measure there. But looks like maybe we will be going to Numbani. Interesting. This was not what I expected. I thought for sure. I mean, usually when King's Row's in the pool, that's where we're going. But Numbani in particular never seemed like a popular map to me. So I'm very interested to see what we see coming out here.
Oh, God mode's having none of that popularity crap. They've got some secret strats prepared for us on Numbani. And if
Yeah, well, I'm
sorry,
looking forward to seeing it. I mean, there's been so many different like Point A in Numbani is such a unique position as well because it's one of the few places where, despite it being the first point on the map, the attacking spawn is actually slightly further away than the defender one. So it's more even than most of them. You can't just trade kills and take Numbani A, just what makes it such a horrible point to attack. And you see some very interesting defensive comps on it as a result. It's one of the few places on the map where Torb has been meta for a long time because there's so many annoying turret angles. You can run dive tanks, you can run bunker, so many different things here. It looks like we will be going with the dive tanks and a defensive Torb. However, we're also going to be seeing McCree, Brigitte, and Anna. I mean, Anna's really good here as well because of that opposing high ground and all that. Yeah, big sight lines, the opposite high ground. The Brig's an interesting one for this, but let's see how it works out. It looks like on attack we will be having some dive as well with the Echo as well, so very aggressive, highly mobile composition. But then the healing line, Brig Anna again, so not really high mobility at all there.
no, but you do find the Brig being run a lot to provide the armor packs. So the Echo in the sky as Mother Chibai gets the first kill of the fight. Royal Eskimo going a little too far, followed up by Chun-Li, who doesn't heed the lesson that the Tracer learned. Gets taken down by McNasty. That Torbjorn already put to good use.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just like so many annoying angles you can set up a turret on this so it fires and gets you on those off angles while you're trying to push onto some other position. It can be so annoying to deal with. And yeah, on top of that, oh, well, I was going to say the tall left and right clicks are no slouch on their own, but Royal Eskimo deletes that Torbjorn, and with no mercy around to bring it back, that is going to be a 6v5 as the dive comes in.
That's a good change to the Widowmaker. They know there's not going to be much to counter them. Off the Tracer onto the Widow, and the Nano Booster Chun-Li is getting in there, going deep, looking to build up that Primal Rage, just harassing the front line of Kraken Academy. They retreat onto the high ground, followed by the tanks of God Mode, and they've created so much space, almost 2 ticks taken. That's a Hanzo on the point, taking a point. Royal Eskimo looking down the main street as Kraken Academy look to re-engage. The Deadeye on the field just to clear some space for the tanks to get in there. Odo's Pirates has the Primal Rage beating around the members of God Mode sitting on the point, but
it's going to be it. Oh, it is.
Yeah. Wow. Odo's Pirate not able to get back, and just like that, even if they get the cleanup here, God Mode in a great position.
Yeah, I mean, they stuck that one through, but I mean, it's not the worst in the world because we often see defending teams look to spawn camp here anyway, so if they were able to reinforce this point a bit more, they might have been able to keep that up. Unfortunately, they're perhaps a little too scattered out, and so there will be no spawn camp possible. And that's going to give a lot of space here for the attackers to push through into the streets phase. They've still got this double sniper out, and they've got both sniper ultimates online as well. I do like the swab of McNatty in response to the double sniper going onto the Doomfist. That really is going to allow you to close the distance very quickly and get in those snipers' face.
And for sight, the first ultimate invested from the plethora available to God Mode only. The Primal Rage not available. Oh, Star, what an absorb! Takes down the dragons from Tiger Bro. And Mother Chibai now out on the Widow, taking the fight right to Royal Eskimo. Just like that, a good start to the fight is looking a little pale for God Mode. They get Lana Winters, but they lose 2 of their own. This cart is going to stop here on this second corner. 2 corners into B, 2 corners away from the end.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to stop that one either, because if they can get just a little bit of backpedaling on this payload, they might have an opportunity to contest right on the goal line as well. That said, not a lot of people like that final contest because you are sort of funneling through a choke point, albeit a particularly large one to come out onto it. So we'll see if it comes to that, but well, there's still another fight to happen before that becomes relevant. We see the dive coming in deep. They're going for that Anna.
Yeah, that was a really nice play. They saw the rally come out and focus on the Anna, who wasn't quite near the Brigitte. Rest of God Mode falls back to protect the old Grandma, make sure the healing is available to them, and in the end, they're able to capture Odo's Pirate. The Winston's staying a little too long for their liking. McNatty gets the kill onto Royal Eskimo, doing what Doomfist does, getting in up amongst the switches, doing the job. Mother Chibai over the top with a 2k. They're going to turn, so Kraken Academy is going to turn this fight around. There's another kill. Mother Chibai, what have you been eating for breakfast?
I mean, I was very impressed with just the peel that we saw to deal with that dive into the Ana. They managed to keep their Ana alive, which is not an easy feat to do. But in the end, despite that, I mean, with all those resources being committed into stopping the dive, it does eventually mean that the Widowmaker's able to find an angle where no one can do anything about it, and then it's just a free shoot from there. That said, we are seeing the cart edge up forwards. Defenders are going to have to commit into this one soon. Otherwise, well, they need to commit into this soon. Is anyone going to do it?
The cart, Shuggy Leap actually jumped off the cart. And in the end, the supports, there's Alana Winters and a Doomfist on the cart trying to stop any progress being made. But the fight is so split up right now. You've got members of the attack away from the cart, members of the attack on the cart. In the end, it will be the reinforcements coming back from Kraken Academy. They'll flex back, they'll take Cats out of it off and Royal Eskimo out of the fight. They lose Armagnati in the process. They're going to maintain cart control here, Herodius, no matter what Quasa has to say about it.
Absolutely, and Quasa will be backing off there. Does manage to get out without losing the mech, so I mean that was the risk when they went in, but Diva's boost is on such a short cooldown these days that I suppose you can get away with it. There was a time back in my day when Diva players couldn't just boost willy-nilly, but I'll stop talking like an old man now. Royal Eskimo maybe looking to see if maybe they could sneak that one through, but it's a few too many eyes on this payload at this point in time to make it possible.
They're so close to an EMP, and that could be the decisive ultimate they need to get the cart across the line. They're gently going for that sneaky little Winston play again, seeing how much they can steal in cart progress. Royal Eskimo gets spotted and taken down. Mother Chibai doing a great job avoiding that soft grab. Now there's a meteor strike on the field. It'll be answered by a self-destruct over the top of Quasa, but they can't get back in the mech. AOEsports doing a great job denying the remech, and as Nano Booster Cat to the job, swinging that flail, but there's nothing to hit.
Yeah, we're getting into desperation territory here. They need to rally God Mode, need to get this one going, but they've been stuck on this corner for a while now, and the Widow sights mean that any moves they make here are going to be very obvious to the whole team. Defenders have a lot of resources here. There's a bomb over the top from Star just to delay the push, try and deny some of those angles.
And Royal Eskimo couldn't make any progress forward because of the infrasight, and now the time has been made and the space has been made for Tiger Bro to be taken out of the fight. The Armagnati's copped the nano boost, gets hacked by the EMP, but so far there's no follow-up coming through from God Mode. Though as I say that, Plus are able to get Mother Chibai out of the fight, but they lose the mech and lose their life. Armagnati following up onto Cats with a drop over time, burning down. It keeps getting re-triggered. Royal Eskimo trying to get in there, trying to get a touch, trying to get a hack. Slept and taken down. Tamago Yucky doing everything there, taking the matters into their own hands. There's a wrecking ball on the field, but in the end, overtime will burn down just short of point B for God Mode. Kraken Academy setting themselves a nicely doable target.
Oh yeah, Kraken Academy are looking fantastic here. I mean, anytime you can stop the payload on this map before you reach the final point, that's a great place to be. Now the win condition here for God Mode has to be trying to hold A, which is doable on this map. But it can be so hard to prevent that payload from making it all the way through the streets phase. Pressure has definitely got to be on. They may have had their own attack stopped up in that street phase, but it's not something you want to be playing for here. So definitely trying to go for the full hold at A, failing that, maybe that early streets phase spawn camp, because that final point, it's not easy to hold there. I'm very impressed that Kraken managed to hold it down.
Yeah, a very impressive display, and God Mode, they've, like you said, if they want to hold an A, they've got to go all in. So we're likely to see a full-on bunker composition come out for them. Yeah, they're suggesting over it now. They're Arista Sigma, Torbjorn, Ash, lots of survivability. Not opting for the Mercy. Depending on how you want to run it, do you want the massive heals that come through from the Baptiste and the Brigader? Do you want the armor packs as well? Or do you go for the Resurrection just in case? It looks like they're going for no one dying, which it's a brave approach.
Yeah, I mean, the Immortality Matrix does give you an important defensive tool. Can be very useful against some things coming out. That said, I mean, we've got the Tracer Sombra dive coming through from the attackers, so they're going to have a lot of angles to take, a lot of scouting. and they can slowly try and poke apart this bunker. That said, that Torb turret is going to be an absolute nuisance for both the Tracer and the Sombra, and there goes Mother Chibai now already.
But they have traded their life for 50% point capture progress. And Godbo finally decides to jump down and contest them, and they're doing a really good job right now. Kraken Academy going very low, so many members low. Odo's Pirate is low, Star is out of mech, Magnati out of the fight. It was a nice little re-engage from God mode there.
Yeah, I'm thinking this one maybe we'll see some swap-ups on the DPS, but maybe not. I don't know. I mean, they're 50% to an EMP, and obviously Bunker is particularly vulnerable to EMP when you're playing together, especially when they're bunkering up near the Torb turret. It makes it even easier to catch everything. They're not playing on with the Torb turret on an off angle from the rest of them, so they are vulnerable to that EMP. So I can understand wanting to keep on for that one. I'm surprised they've kept with the Tracer though, because Tracer into a Torb turret is such a pain, especially with a Brigadier on the field as well.
There was a hack that went through onto Quasar, but then Royal Eskimo was on the prowl hunting down that Sombra. Chased him down and eventually finishes off the kill. And, oh, Mother Chibai cops a rock to the face, but is able to recall away from it. Magayaki sweeps around the outside with the Coalescent, just trying their best to hose down this Baptiste, as Odo's Pirate is doing their best to batter them away. So maybe two ultimates interfering with each other a little bit, making that Baptiste a little harder target. In the end, Odo's Pirate is the one that goes down once the Primal Rage was up, triply finishing that off. And again, God Mode just sitting all over this point, not allowing any more capture progress coming through from Kraken.
Yeah, 2 minutes off the clock, 2 more to go, and they've still got plenty of ultimates online. This is looking very doable here. Now, obviously, these sorts of full holds, anything going wrong can spell the end of it. So far, so good. They've got a lot of tools coming online. It's going to be all down to this EMP. And Magnati looking to get that one set up. They'll only be able to get half the team with it, though.
Oh, that's the half you want, though. You've got the Brigadier, you've got the Torbjorn. The Gravitic Flux is going to come through, slap Star down to the ground. They're going to remove the Diva from the fight totally. And they're going to take out Lana and Odo's Pirate as well. So that EMP not really paying anything for Kraken Academy. Great reflex from God Mode to keep themselves in the fight.
Yeah, they played that one really well, and sure enough, we see the DPS swap coming in here now. That said, it's a little late. 1 minute left on the clock means that they can't guarantee they're going to get those ultimates online. Things are starting to get dicey. Meanwhile, God Mode, they're looking great here. They've still got the Torbjorn ultimate. They've got another... there's the window out, and they've got a supercharger as well in the hole.
Of the direct approach, they march straight up the stairs, May wall to ensure that no one can back out, and it's paying off. Odo's Pirate gets the kill, plus kills onto some tech. Get taken out of the fight, but then Mother Chibai over the top with 3 kills, going to clean up this point. 30 seconds left on the clock, but Kraken Academy going to take A.
And there it is. Sometimes you just need to crack that bunker with the old Hellfire shotguns. Breaks right through the point. And, with the way that they went down there as well, and of course with them running the bunker composition, spawn camp not really an option here. So they're going to be setting up around this goal line. 3 minutes is a long time to try and make it happen, though. And they've stuck with the Torbjorn, perhaps controversially. I mean, they've got that ultimate still, but, I mean, Torbolt's not that powerful when you're not playing on a control point. Maybe you can hose down the cart, but I'm not sure sticking with the Torb is the play here.
Buying time is the name of the game. Molten Core does go exactly where you said it would on the cart. The self-destruct over the top. Star picks up 2, including that Baptiste. No more Immortality Field on the ground. Chumley immediately follows back to spawn. What a brawl fight win from Kraken.
It's just a matter of cleaning up that turret now. That's what they needed here, or rather, that's what they needed here. Now they need to just push forwards and try and prevent the members of God Mode from getting back on this payload. They've got the means to do it, but the tanks aren't being as aggressive as I'd like. I mean, I guess they can get away with playing on the cart, but you're going to potentially see another fight here where maybe you wouldn't have.
Bob's going to be the one that contests the cart. Star boops him a little bit out of the way. He's going to get frozen and taken down. The Coalescence from Smargoyaki doing a great job there. But now there's a Gravitic Flux on the field. Quasar slaps the attacking team down. No kills coming out of a Star. Is still out of mech. So Odo's Pirate doing what they can. Oh, Mother Chibai over the top with the Death Blossom. Doesn't quite get any kills, but it allows the Blizzard to come out. And following that, the Frozen Heroes will be taking now Kraken Academy, use all that space to push the cart through, and that put them on match point.
Yeah, I mean, Kraken Academy looking absolutely fantastic tonight. This is a team that knows exactly what they're doing. They know their win conditions, and they are playing them. I was a little worried when they stuck with that. It's just such a well play. The bomb ending up on top of the May wall was the worst thing there for them because there were people trying to hide from it. But anyways, I was. They stuck with that the Tracer Sombra on the attack maybe a little too long into the Torb turret. I mean, I did say right from the bat, and I think maybe they needed to swap off. They decided to stick with it. In the end, they swap late. They do realize that this isn't going to crack through, and the Hellfire shotguns get it done. But so maybe a little hesitant to swap their compositions. But other than that, they are firing on all cylinders, and we are definitely seeing them a clear favorite in this matchup. I mean, 2-0 at the half is pretty decisive in and of itself, right?
Indeed, and God Mode's going to have to engage their own name here. God Mode, just to get through, they're going to have to pull something out of the hat. And look, they've got the tools to make it work. A lot of the players on this team have shown flexibility, and they can play different heroes. But they're just, I feel like they're being brought down by Kraken Academy's ability to adapt to what they're running. We saw Point A of Numbani was a good example on Kraken Academy's attack. They beat their heads against the wall for 3 minutes. It wasn't working. The moment they swapped off, they ran through with that broad composition, cleared the point, and effectively cleared out the map. So God Mode, perhaps need to be aware that Kraken Academy is going to adapt to them and be ready for that adaptation.
Yeah, and we'll be heading over to Assault for our next map. And the interesting question here is, will it be Temple of Anubis, will it be Hanamura, or will it be Volskaya Industries? Everyone's favorite everyone's favorite game mode, Assault 2CP, as it's often referred to.
Well, I think we should decide which is the most popular Assault map and then say it's not going to be that one, because that's how we handled it for Hybrid.
Well, I mean, Hanamura is probably the most popular of these three, but even then, I've always preferred Volskaya personally, but it seems Hanamura was the...
Maybe also popular given it is the home to Genji and Hanzo. So a lot of players out there they like the cinematic that those two are introduced in. They just like playing the heroes. So I know I feel a certain amount of pride when I play on Junkertown. It's the Australian map, and I get, play Junkrat, and I just feel like I'm at home. So if you like playing those characters, it's nice to play on a home map.
Absolutely. And speaking of home maps, we will be heading over to the very first Overwatch map, Temple of Anubis. Bit of a controversial pick, but it's where we're going nonetheless. Yeah, second Point of Anubis, famous for being just a horrible mess of choke points. But first, we will have to get through this first one. And I mean, comps on this map have gone through so many different metas, between dive, sort of the high ground Orisa comp with the Maywall boosted up there, to heading back to dive, to more bunker-based compositions. It's really interesting to see what will come out here, because it's gone through so many changes in these Point A defenses.
Indeed, it has. And a lot of it will be down to what the teams prefer to run. So at least having the different metas on this map means you've got choice. If you want to run the Widow, there is space to do that. If you want to run the Junkrat on defense, there is space to do that. You're not necessarily tied down to one specific meta. And we'll see we'll see what the defense from Kraken comes out with first. And it looks like McNatty might come out with that Junkrat. It's an Oceanic tournament. It's based... Well, I know I'm based in Australia. Yeah. Why not bring an Australian onto the field?
Well, this is debatably the best Junkrat map. So if you're gonna want to play the Junkrat now, is definitely the time to do it. And supporting that will be Mother Chibai on the McCree. We've seen some great things on the hit scans from them. Meanwhile, we have a dive composition from the attack here. Now that they've seen what they're up against, they're just taking a moment to, I suppose, plan out their engagement. They are going to have to worry about that junk trap as well. See how they come into this one.
So they are going to stick with this composition. Chun-Li in the first hit loses half their health to get in, as does Kwasa. a large health pack in the room will make sure they have something to heal up, but they're going to waste valuable time waiting. And finally the engage is there. They push Kraken Academy back onto the bridge, but they are not phased at all. Star Mother Chibai picking up kills. That attack is repulsed and a minute wasted off the clock already for God Mode.
And that is why this is such a good Junkrat map. It is so hard to get anywhere without taking a lot of damage just from those spam shots. And I mean, Armagnati 70% to the ultimate charge already. Lana Winters at 84% as well, getting a lot of work done there on the Brigida as well. And, well, the attackers, not a lot of progress on their own outside of the Zen and Tracer. There goes Chongli again. There's so much front-loaded damage from the defenders here, but Lana goes down.
The defenders they just keep running up onto this high ground, losing their tank line, or most of the health of their tank line. But yeah, a couple of kills going the other way. It's going to give them a brief moment where not so many defenders and their attackers are back. Chongli can just leap back onto the point. It looks like it's going to happen right now.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to go in. You've taken down the defenders' supports. They have no healing at the moment. You've got to get aggressive. That said, defenders are looking to battle in there.
But that Transcendence coming out from Aprilla was perfectly timed. They're going to keep them alive on the point. Mother Chibai trying to bring something back, taking Tiger Bro out of the fight. But in the end, it'll be too much pressure from God Mode. They're going to capture point A.
It's the point A capture, and a late kill onto Mother Chibai and Lana Winters in another time would be a problem, but they spawn instantly now. Everyone is going to be back on that point B, and this is the point. It's actually interesting to see Armagnati swap over the Doom here, because this is where Junkrat is especially strong. 3 entrances, all of them choke points. So that said, Doomfist quite strong in them too.
Supercharger, the first ultimate out for the defense. They want to make sure that this entryway for God Mode is the hardest possible thing to come into. The Transcendence is there as well, making sure that the damage and the healing is available. And so far, it is working out for them. Mother Chibai picks up Chongli. The tank line is now out of the fight. There's a dead eye on the shield, just for good measure. That attack will be cleaned up.
Yeah, good defense there from Kraken Academy. That said, they do have to use a fair amount of resources there as well, but I mean, the snowball is always the biggest threat on those 2 CP maps. If you can stop the first push, you've usually got a bit of time to then dig yourselves in, and it's going to be a bit harder to entrench you. So the attackers not able to get that first push. That said, they do actually have a lot of resources online, especially with that Transcendence about to happen. So they may still have an opportunity here to win it in this next fight.
Yeah, that might be the big difference maker in this fight. Oh, they're losing Chongli first. It's going to make life difficult. Oh, the Transcendence from Aprilla just not quick enough to keep that Winston alive. And the Meteor Strike down. Royal Eskimo will feel the full force of that glove on their heads. And again, this attack is going to be repulsed. If you've got mode, you want to get out of here soon.
Yeah, now, I mean, not the best one there from God Mode, but we do see some changes coming through. Royal Eskimo actually going to move over onto the Pew Pew Man himself. Soldier 76 coming out, and that's a interesting decision that I'm not 100% sure why Soldier 76 here.
Perhaps looking for a little more shield pressure, but no. Straight off onto this Sombra.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
And Sombra is certainly someone we saw. Sorry, Anuba's certainly a map we saw a lot of Sombra on, particularly after she was introduced. She actually got a lot of run on 2C on Assault. Toned down a little bit, you know, not getting charged off the health packs, but still a decent way of breaking open a point B.
Yeah, absolutely. Those point Bs so hard to take out because you need to cleanly. Oh, Tiger Bro.
Armagnati was. Sorry, I'll just interrupt. Armagnati was sitting on top of this column at the front of the point. Just spotted Tiger Bro flying around the outside. Rocket punch out of the air, went back to the high ground.
Oh man, have they actually committed the? Okay. Alright, I have some question marks about the ultimate usage here of God Mode, but still, nonetheless, I'll be gathering up. But yeah, Sombra, a great way to crack this second point, because you need to win these point B fights cleanly, and EMP is a good way to do just that. That said, a long way for the EMP to come off yet, and
yeah, that'll be the key. And
a lot of pressure.
Going down there early is not going to enable your speedy building of an EMP. As a supercharged Deado on the field, Tiger Bro will feel the full force of that Peacekeeper through the head, as will Aprilla. Sorry.
Mother Chibai looking really good here on the McCree, and they're getting super aggressive here as well, going for the chase. McNatty not quite able to get the DMAC, but they will pick up Cats on the way out, so it's going to be even more time off the clock there. A minute left for Godmode to try and break open this defense. No progress so far on the second point, and still a fair bit of time left. I mean, 74% says that EMP is coming online soon, but still a fair way off at this point.
And they may not even get it online, but when in a full 6v6, they may have to take an undermanned fight just to get that EMP off. Transcendence forced out early from April. You may have wanted that on the point, but now you're going to see where that Meteor Strike is coming down. As the Transcendence was off, so a slight off timing by our McNatty, but right now you've got the Immortality Field on the point. You've got another Deadeye from Mother Chibai. Tiger Bro has chosen to duplicate at Baptiste. They're going to have an Immortality Field on the side of the attacking team. Not something they already have. And they've got a couple of kills. Mother Chibai answers back, taking Cats out of a drop. There is the EMP. It only hits a couple of members. Royal Eskimo is immediately eliminated from the fight. Lana Winter's going to survive, has that Discord on them, but the Brigade is staying alive. McNatty comes back, takes that Prilla out, and it looks like it might be all said and done for God Mode here on their attack. Overtime going to burn down. No progress made on points B.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame because that fight looked pretty good there. They looked like they were maybe getting things started, but the EMP just doesn't provide the decisive push through. And I mean, sure, you EMP the McCree, he can't roll anymore, he can't flashbang you, but he's still got that Peacekeeper, and it still plinks away and does a lot of damage. And Mother Chibai proving quite a good shot with it means that EMP McCree doesn't really slow down as much as you'd like.
No, there's a couple of heroes that don't really mind if you EMP them. McCree is one, Reaper is another.
Yeah.
Their primary fire is generally their best ability. The rest of the kit is just utility to help them get in position to do their job. So, unlike in God Mode, I felt like they never really got the fight they wanted to on attack. Yeah, they were waiting for the EMP, but it was coming up slowly because they weren't getting a nice fight where Royal Eskimo could get in and get a lot of damage done, get a couple of kills to put on the EMP. And in the end, they just waited and waited and waited, and they were forced to go by the clock of all things.
Yeah, and you have to give it up to Kraken for not allowing that Sombra to get anything done. Every time Royal Eskimo popped up, they swatted it, and they made sure that Sombra died, and died quickly. So again, Team Kraken, Kraken Academy, playing very well with their win conditions, swatting the Sombra, delaying that EMP, and that allows them to come out on top in the end. Now we move over to their attack, and we have a double shield here with the Ryan Orisa on defense. A bit of an uncommon double main tank rollout here from God Mode as they try and presumably hold this at first point.
Well, they want as much protection as possible. We'll see if Kraken Academy chooses to take the fight to them. They do. And a nice little hack. No, that didn't quite come off. Mother Chibai was interrupted. The Immortality Field on the high ground will assure that these beefy bodies of God Mode are staying alive as Kraken Academy just dances around on the low ground looking for an opportunity once the Immortality Field wears off. And they lose Lana Winters in the process, shortly picking up that kill. Right now, God Mode broken apart a little bit. Chungley was isolated and taken down. That was smart play by Kraken Academy. Down a player, but still able to take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing this dive composition, and especially Odo's Pirate, just applying the pressure there from the Winston everywhere they can. Really, and it's forced back God Mode so much. They're bottled up in this corner, just trying to stall the fight. And now with the trans on the field, they're going to be even more bottled up there, not able to pick the fight.
The Immortality Field is there for God Mode to keep them alive. McNatty over the top on the Echo, trying to take down that field. It will eventually wear off. Once it does, Lana Winters and Odos go to work in that little house. No one is going to live on the attacking team. As Exo Bruce and Cats got a job, just keeping the Baptiste in the fight a little bit to waste a little more time. But in the end, point flipping over to Kraken Academy. 5 minutes 20 for their attack on point B.
Yeah, this is looking so good for Kraken Academy to try and end this here. All pressure now on God Mode. They need to hold this tick for 5 minutes. And, I mean, they've got some tools coming online. It's not impossible. They've pulled out the Torbjorn again, which is an interesting move, and it definitely can work. There's a couple of places you can put the Torb turret here that are especially annoying to deal with, and against the Sombra, it's going to deny a lot of space there to that, but still so much time.
Ooh. Well, that was I reckon that rivet was all the way down the main street of point B here, because Mother Chihuahua was very low, only needed one hit. Oh no, the Transcendence! Oh, that was their biggest tool against the EMP.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna hurt. That's obviously a mispick from Aprilla there, and that's really going to hurt this defense.
So Kraken Academy now is the one with all the tools in their bag. They got the duplicate and the EMP online.
Yeah, you've got to see them salivating here at this opportunity. Royal Eskimo's got the Deadeye out, but I mean, here comes the EMP maybe. No, looking for the target, trying to get a few people. There it is.
Gets the McCree and the Reinhardt. Quasar is going to be the immediate recipient of all the damage. The Immortality Field will keep the Reinhardt in the fight, and it's given space for Royal Eskimo and Aprilla to do the work they need. The kills are coming through for God Mode. They've survived the EMP. They're going to hold on, and all of a sudden the tables have turned in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, that's turned around so well. I mean, after losing the Transcendence there, incredible comeback there from God Mode to pull that fight out, and that's going to buy them so much space. We see that forces some rotations here from Kraken. They're going back to the May Reaper, and I mean, this could work. I mean, this is definitely one of the compositions that doesn't rely on ultimates to make things happen, and they've still got their own defensive trance there, but you got to expect it's going to be a bit of time before they can really get things going here.
Well, the Supercharger's going to get them going a little earlier. That was a nice hop. Pulled all the members of Kraken Academy up into a line. Tamagayaki pushes onto the point with the Transcendence. Lana Winters uses that as cover to take Chun-Li out of the fight. The Immortality Field and the Amp Matrix from Cat's Gonna Drop is going to do a little bit to forestall the advance of Kraken Academy, as will the Molten Core. Trade's going back and forth, but so far the numbers themselves are favouring Kraken Academy. With a Transcendence available for Aprilla, they're going to buy some time for the reinforcements to come out, as will Chun-Li, who's out on the Wrecking Ball. Those adaptive shields making the Wrecking Ball so survivable. Oh, Stars, they're self-destruct on top of the wall. Cat's Got a Job, cannot escape, and all of a sudden the kills are coming through. Kraken Academy pushes through for that final tick, and they take out the match.
And that is the second time we've seen a Diva Bomb on top of an enemy. No, it's on top of a friendly May wall. They must have that as a strat. And we see the other team looking for cover from it, but you can't hide from it when it's right on top of the wall there. So that must be something they've been practicing. It has worked so well in a couple of fights now. And, well, that's a decisive 3-0 win there for Kraken Academy. After a brawly first round of control, it was all Kraken Academy all the way for the rest of this match.
Yeah, it was great efforts from God Mode to bookend the series. So that, as you said, that first control match went to 99-100. And that defense, I was invested in that defense from God Mode right there. They were doing such a great job. Got a bit unlucky that the ultimates came online. The rest of Kraken's ultimates came online when they did, after doing such a great job to shut down the EMP.
Yeah.
And maybe Aprilla, I'm curious about. So Aprilla used that, accidentally used that Transcendence, but in the end, they had another Transcendence later on that was at the right time. So maybe using the Transcendence early forced, or maybe relaxed Kraken Academy to the point where they were a little more relaxed about using the EMP the first time instead of going directly for the Zenyatta.
Maybe, yeah. Could be the case. I mean, that second trans didn't get as much done because the player, the Torbjorn that was standing right next to the trans, just got, I think, right-clicked or something, but actually died during the trans just from burst damage, which is not something that happens often, but it's theoretically possible, and we saw it. So the Transcendence, I mean, it didn't help other than to help stall out the point a little bit more, but in the end isn't able to swing the fight anyways. But yeah, great performance there from God Mode, but unfortunately Kraken Academy very much look like the stronger team here. And with that, they will be walking away with that one with the W.
Anyone you would like to nominate as an MVP for this particular match?
It's such a hard one because, they're obviously playing really well as a team. I think all of these players putting in a great performance here. There wasn't really on the Kraken side anyone, or many people rather, that stood out a huge amount. I do have to give props to Odos Pirate though. First match with the team, and they were absolutely performing as a main tank. We saw them being aggressive, especially on that Anubis attack on the Winston there. Just every time the team was pushing from one direction, all the healing resources for God mode were devoted there, and then the Winston was just harassing someone else and managed to actually drop down the Orisa while in the chaos of the fight. After I saw them get a couple of people low and have to back off, and then they finally got the Orisa. So Odos actively trying to jump those players who weren't the priority of the healers, and in the end managing to get one of them, and that buckles the defense and gives them that opportunity. So I think Odos Pirate, incredible performance there for the first match with the team.
Indeed. I love seeing good solid tank play, so congratulations to you for being our MVP. You don't get anything for it. We just really love your work, mate. And so with that, Kraken Academy and God Mode actually moving to 1 win, 1 loss each in their groups. So a very even group looks like so far. Of course, will depend on how the rest of the results fall. But for now, we will bid you adieu and stick around because we have a Division 1 match between Spoiled Milk and Smooth Brain coming up soon. Don't, go away and get something to eat, but make sure you come back.
Absolutely. We'll be back in about half an hour to bring you Smooth Brain versus Spoiled Milk. So until then, take care, and we'll see you real soon.
Jackie. Yeah, what's up with it? Yeah, what's up with it? What's up with it? Yeah, what's up with it? What's up with it? With it. Kraken. Yeah, what's up with it? Kraken. Yeah, what's up with it?
Welcome back. This is one and all to round 2 of Ascent, brought to you by AOE and sponsored by. I'm blanking on it. It's
My
terrible.
Republic.
My Republic Gamer. Wow. Stay home with Australia's #1 broadband provider for gaming, My Republic. And if you're just joining with us, we earlier this evening had the match between God Mode and Kraken Academy, which went 3-0 in favor of Kraken Academy. But now it's time for Smooth Brain versus Spoiled Milk. I'm Peronius, and joining me once again is Temporal.
Yes, I'm glad to be back after that match earlier tonight. It went the way of Kraken Academy fairly convincingly, so I'm hoping that these two teams go a little longer. I don't have a bad time. I mean, I like to tell myself that, I really do, because I'm a human being. But I'm looking forward to see what these teams can throw at us. So we have Spoiled Milk and Smooth Brain. They've had different results so far in the competition. Spoiled Milk coming off a loss, but they did go down. Excuse me. They did go down last. Oh,
Yes, Spoiled Milk went down 3-1 against last week against Power Rankers, but Power Rankers are a very strong team. This is sort of known, so it's perhaps not too surprising that they went down there. If anything, it's a promising sign they were able to take a match off of them. So definitely not necessarily meaning that they're the weak member of this particular matchup. Meanwhile, Smooth Brain, they did get the victory last week in a 3-2 win against Scupper's crew. It's going to be interesting to see how these two go against each other as they face off.
As we saw from that first match, week 1 results not necessarily indication of how you perform in week 2. So I'll be sure to see, if Spoiled Milk coming off that loss to such a strong team, whether they'll be ready for anything that Smooth Brain can throw at them. You know, they're probably hoping that Smooth Brain is a little bit like their name. They're a bit smooth-brained.
Yeah, absolutely. That said, Smooth Brain, I mean, they've had some recent performance as a team. They were in open divs of the most recent round, got through 2 playoffs. Unfortunately, didn't get much further than playoffs, but still a good little mark for their history, and bit of a feather in their cap, as they haven't had a roster reshuffle since then, so they've had a bit of time working together, whereas Spoiled Milk, it's a team that's been around for a while now. However, they've basically completely replaced their roster from where they first started out as a Plat Diamond team. Only Zapando is the remaining OG player from Spoiled Milk now on this roster. But again, a lot of people who have been in the scene for a while now. They did manage to end up being the runners-up in Div 3 last season. Now they're bumping all the way up to Div 1. So definitely a big jump from them, but one that could pay off as they come out swinging here.
Indeed, though, Spoiled Milk, to their credit, are not a team that is... Oh, sorry, I'm just... So yeah, Spoiled Milk is not a team that is a stranger to success. They did compete in last season's Ascent Season 3 in Division 3, and they were runners-up. So they did well in that division, and not only have they come into this new season stronger than ever, they've also gone up 2 divisions. This is a Division 1 match. This is the highest division you can be in, so they've improved dramatically, and I'm hoping that means that they're able to take the fight right to Smooth Brain.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, looking at the comparative SRs, they've potentially got an edge here. It's really going to be down to seeing how these two teams actually execute in the fights, because I mean, SR isn't everything, but at the same time, if you do have the higher SR players, you do expect a little bit more from them. And certainly that did prove to come true in the last match. Kraken Academy did have the slightly higher SR totals, and we saw a fairly dominant performance out of them there. I mean, it may not be the end of the conversation necessarily, but it is a decent indicator of how well you can stomach rough times, because as we all know, ranked is kind of like just getting punched in the face over and over again. People who can put up with it longer are the people with the greater mental fortitude, and that's what's going to make the difference here in these sorts of tight matches.
Indeed, and of course, you not only you play for longer being at this high rank, you sometimes have to wait a bit longer to get in the queue as well. So there's definitely a lot of mental fortitude required, but you know what? Maybe there's a little community involved as well. You get to know the other people in the queue intimately. If there's not that much of a population, so a lot of these players most likely know each other. They've seen each other around. They know how they play. Know what you know what they're like. You know how they want to play. So it could be a good, nice. I'm expecting a nice, friendly affair coming out of these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, we generally see decent sportsmanship coming out at this level of play. There's not really a lot to be gained from being especially salty or tilty in chat. So definitely expect a good clean time from all these players as they compete for their stake in the $500 prize pool provided by My Republic Gainer. We will be starting, of course, on Nepal as always, and from there after we'll be going through the maps, or the map modes rather, moving on to Hybrid, Assault, Escort, and back to Control as necessary, with the losing team picking from the pools.
And it does give you a little advantage. You know, sometimes you go down a map, the other team gets the better of you, but then you get to pick exactly where you want to go. You get to play out the strats you want, force the other team to play into you. And
exactly.
Although, given that you don't get to choose the first map, so Nepal is set for Ascent, so neither team has picked this map, so you do have the safety of knowing what map you're going to, so you can plan for it, but it also means the other team can do the exact same thing. You can't pull a surprise packet out on the mid-map choice. You have to rely on your skill and the strat you have in play for that map, and perhaps a little of the luck you have may come down to which round in particular comes up first. If you're good on one or two of the rounds in a control map, those are the ones you want to come up first.
And Nepal's an interesting one for that as well. I mean, a lot of the control maps are very different in how they play out, but Nepal, like, it has its exception round in Sanctum, which plays very differently to the other two. And then, like, Shrine and Village, you often see very similar compositions on both of those, even though the map layout and geometry is a little different. But Sanctum has always been very much in favor of an Orisa-based main tank ever since she came out. You very rarely see anything else on there. So I suppose if we do end up going to Sanctum, it will be the test of who has the better Orisa there. But for the other rounds, plenty of options available. For those of you who may be not 100% aware, there are no hero bans. There are no locked out heroes whatsoever in this tournament. So all heroes available for all players, which does mean that we see some very interesting things coming out here, considering the difference between this and ranked play.
Yes, a stark difference is at the level these players are playing at. And we've got some kind of indication of what the players will run based on what we see other teams running. We see a lot of double shielding these days. You see actually, no, let's focus on the off-tank role first. So the off-tank, you see, I feel like I'm seeing a split between the teams based on not only Matt being selected, but also just the player preference.
Yeah.
You see, some teams run almost exclusively Sigma, whereas some teams will balance it a bit more. They'll play a bit more Diva, a bit more Sigma. I don't really see much just solid Diva play these days, which you might have done in the history of Overwatch when Diva was so powerful. I say when Diva was so powerful, she is so powerful. So there's a lot of that is down to what the off tank is good at in the team. DPS wise, there's a bit more variety though, Peronius.
Yeah, there's always been a lot of variety in the DPS roles. Well, I mean, there are a few exceptions. We have gone through a couple of metas where there were very limited choices, and in fact, we went through one where there were no choices. But these days, I mean, May Reaper is always going to be popular. It is just a very powerful composition, but at the same time, it's not always going to be the way it goes. We saw in the last map, we saw Double Sniper coming out, we saw Tracer Sombra, plenty of options available. Sombra Genji is always going to be powerful because hack and slash is just such a great combination, but you have to have a good Genji player to pull that off. And of course, that's a particular comp that, while very powerful, relies on a lot of team play, because in some of these metas, Genji is completely useless outside of that EMP ult combo. So Definitely sacrifices being made to run that. And then, of course, we go over to Anubis, and suddenly Junkrat is the best hero in the game. And likewise, I mean, Doomfist, a good Doomfist is pretty much always going to be impactful just because of your sheer one-shot potential as well.
Indeed. And you know, we do have seen some weird stuff in Ascent so far. We saw last week we had a Genji player, and there was no Ana on the field for them. We thought they might have a tough time, but it turns out Genji can Dragon Blade without an Ana. I mean, without a Nano Boost in tow. I didn't think it was possible, but it is. Some players can get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Genji. You don't see him too much these days, but when you do see him and he's popping, it's great to see. So maybe we've got some Genji specialists here that can delight us. But other than that, it looks like we will be getting underway as we make our way over to the first round of DePaul. It looks like we will be starting over on Shrine.
Well, let's introduce our teams on the side. Ooh, excuse me a moment. On the side of Spoiled Milk today, we have Safety, Zenando, Zapando, RK9, Dopo Copo, Combo Breaker, and Cool DBZ. And for the side of Smooth Brain is Remark, Drago, Mytak, Boone, Murasaki, and Hilo.
Absolutely, and just a few seconds rather, until it gets underway.
But it feel like minutes. 30 seconds. Oh, come on, just attack. I don't want to see some action.
And it looks like we won't be, at least judging by these initial spawns. No Genji's coming out the gate here. That's not perhaps too surprising. Murasaki on the Pharah without any sort of pocket healer is an interesting pick. Lucio and Moira as the healers, it's going to be very hard to heal up the Pharah. But, I mean, it could still work out quite well. There is cool DBZ on the other side on that tree, as well as the Hammer as well, potentially providing a threat. Interesting, Hilo is going to be, swapping over to the Mercy after speed boosting out the gate. We should have seen that one coming.
I was hoping to see a Lucio using the Skybox wall running solution. Looks like give Lucio safety the first version of Fight Remark. It's been a great jump to start. Discord off. So the running off. I forget what more it's called. Anyway, it's really annoying and it takes Lucio out of the fight. Mytak coming through with a kill onto Zapando. It's going to make Spoiled Milk's life very difficult as the point is unlocked. Smooth Brain is all over it.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to go. They do have the. Well, there was a late kill onto Murasaki, but the res is there, so it doesn't take too much of that. But we're going to have the other push coming in very quickly here. They do have that speed boost with the Lucio.
Thanks for the assist.
They're going to get up very quickly closing the area. That is going to give them the ground that they're looking for.
Yeah, Smooth Brain waiting for a couple of seconds. They're going to move straight back in once the members get here. 3 kills already, and they're pushing forward. Oh no! Free on the outside, it's so low, dancing around, able to take Boone out of the fight, but the rest of the kills have gone the way of Smooth Brain as they recapture the point almost immediately.
Yeah, and Drago coming out on top in that Ryan v Ryan battle, which is sort of especially interesting here because Drago used to be a DPS player. So he's only relatively recently gone over to the main tank role, plays a very aggressive Reinhardt with big gold, and so far he's putting up pretty good numbers against the team.
That high noon going nowhere, wrong time of day, mate. The first showers down justice from above, finishing off 2. That is a nice clean team fight win for Smooth Brain.
And it's something we've seen before. Pharah, a really good Pharah player, redefines the meta of whatever match they're in. We have seen great Pharahs, and the threat that they can provide here, putting in so much work. And it's really playing out here. Oh, they're
Oh, the first shadow comes out for RK9. Great. Driver was down, had an Earth Shadow thrown. RK9 turns out you don't see do is swing your hammer sideways, let him up and down. They've got plenty of kills to the name. Move back. Murasaki and Remark picking up kills. Points going to be pulled back because Pharah on the outside, not going down the side. Drago's back already.
Yeah, maybe pushing in a little too aggressively. We did say Drago was very aggressive, but the rest of the team is already. So fist onto the back line. Drago slept as he tried to come back.
The video strikes straight down the right. It's not quite finishing the job of their healing. We didn't even try that live. Followed up by the Earth Shatter straight onto Arcade 9. The Nano Boost. Yeah, the Bottom 8 plus the Nano Boost on Arcade 9 is going to put Reinhardt alive and able to push back onto Drago. The still going away. Drago's back into the fight. Smoothbrain is going to use this to push back onto the point.
Join me.
They've got the numbers, they're going to recapture it. About maybe just 2 fights left for Spoiled Milk.
Yeah, I mean, we're at 90% now. They're going to need to get on this point if they want to have those fights at all. Deadeye is going to do a lot of zoning there to delay that push as well. It will be over now. Opportunity to come in. There's a sound barrier there. Look at the touch.
And the sound barrier has already proved so impactful. Combo Break and Arcane are able to mark on the point, swinging and punching respectively. They take down 2 and immediately follow up Combo Breaker with another one in this fight. They've done a really good job on this Doomfist and they're towards another Meteor Strike.
That they managed to get the flip there down, but at 99%, this is where they have to draw the line. Thankfully, not a lot of ultimates there available on the side of Spoiled Milk, rather on the side of Smoothbrain rather. Spoiled Milk have a couple in the bank. They do have to worry about Murasaki's barrage, but that move by itself, I mean, it's such a peaceful time with ultimate that here comes Murasaki now.
Oh, the grab plus picks up 3 and they are immediately dealt with. Murasaki still over the top range of hand rockets. They're not going to get anything done against the full force of Spoiled Milk. Mercy retreats with their life.
Oh no, that late kill on the helo is so big for what's left on the clock there. They're going to have to push in without their Mercy.
Indeed they are. We'll see if Hilo even sticks on the Mercy. No, swaps over to Lucio. There's a Deadeye on the point just to force a sneaky approach. Smoothbrain might take over on the outside of the defeat. He's burst down by Combo Breaker. Just raining down from above. Looks like he picks up one. But unfortunately, he's able to get more kills than numbers advantage is still with the defending. Spoiled Milk having no shadow over the road. They're going to finish off Drago. The rest of the kills going to fall their way. Overtime burning down. Spoiled Milk taking the first round here on the pole.
And what a comeback from Spoiled Milk as well. They were looking like they were maybe in a bit of trouble there, but they get that crucial pick off onto Hilo on the Mercy, forcing a desperate 5v6 fight as your final fight of the round. Not a comfortable place to be there. And if there's one person you don't want to be down in a 5v6 fight, it's your main healer. So really a very difficult place to come back from, and in the end Smoothbrain not able to make it happen, but they were looking so strong for the first part of that map.
Indeed they were. We'll see if there's any changes to these teams. Do they choose to opt in to that Sigma, that Orisa on the point? For the side of Spoiled Milk so far, though, it looks like they want to go back to that Ryan Zarya they started out the last round with.
What an interesting hypothesis.
It's an interesting choice, because I was saying before, you almost have to run the Orisa here. I mean, we did see a few times that maybe the Reinhardt could work in the meta that was working for it. They're going to go for the full wraparound here to try and make it happen, but I mean, both teams have a Lucio, so they're just going to be moving around here bit by bit, and it's just a wild
Ring
race
around
here.
the rosary. No one wants to commit to this fight.
Well, I mean, no, the Reinhardt is trying to commit to this fight, but they're just going to keep fading away from it. They've got the Lucios on both ends. Now they commit back, and they have deleted the enemy front line. But with that, that should be a fairly comfortable fight win here for Smoothbrain.
But went a little too far. They do get, they get the first touch on the point. No one has capped it. The point unlocked before they even engaged. The cleanup will finally be there as Smoothbrain move in and take first control.
And that, as I said, that's sort of the downside to running this Reinhardt here, is especially if you've got the Lucio on the side of the Orisa as well. You can just keep the distance, and sooner or later, you're going to have an opportunity to use your CC to maybe send someone into the pit, or just decide, nah, this is where we take the fight, and catch the other team off guard, as they did.
So a nice forward hold position here from Smoothbrain, but they do fall back a little bit and allow Spoiled Milk to make their way in. Waiting with the wall is Murasaki, but Spoiled Milk, perhaps sensing the danger, is going to go the other way out of their little room they have at the front. The Deadeye, just to keeps Spoiled Milk back, and it keeps safety back all the way to Spawn, not happy with falling afoul of that ultimate. And right now, Spoiled Milk hopping around, not going to go in without their Lucio.
Yeah, maybe an opportunity there to farm a little bit of extra ult off them, but I mean, the side here of Smoothbrain, they've got a lot of ultimates online. They've got a few more about to come online as well. I mean, the only thing they don't have about to come online is the Deadeye they just used. Oh, there comes the caller.
That wall came out a little fast, wasn't able to properly capture anyone. It immediately drops, so Nicola to pull up, but Combo Breaker dives in, eliminates Remark. Both the support out of the fight for Smoothbrain. This is the fight that Spoiled Milk was looking for. They're finally going to make their way onto the point and actually capture it this time.
And that pin by RK9. Murasaki dropped down the hole at just the wrong time there. That one's gonna hurt. But still, I mean, you need to reset. Might as well make it quick, I guess. But yeah, good clean fight win there from the members of Spoiled Milk. But 82% means that they really, I mean, they can retake it if they drop a fight. They ideally want to try and get it all the way to 100 here.
Well, they've got the tools to do it with. The grab is online from the Bando. They've also got the Meteor Strike. We could see the Space Jam combination coming in. But a blizzard on the field from Murasaki will make life a bit harder. Moon takes a dive in the well, not the start you want to see, especially with Drago following close behind, going back to spawn. The tank line gone for Smoothbrain. That blizzard invested for nothing.
Yeah, it was looking a little nasty there, but unfortunately not able to get through. And a couple of late kills onto Remark and Mytak. I mean, it's going to buy a lot of time here for the point team as well, which is really what they need here. Spoiled Milk need every second they can in control. And this is the part where the Reinhardt does start to shine, because Orisa on pushing forward onto attack position just can't be as aggressive. It means that RK9 does have the initiative. He can pick the fight and then on to the other team to respond to it.
There's dueling coalescences surrounding that Graviton Surge. Only one kill picked up from that. The sand barrier from Hilo ensuring that no one else from the side of Smoothbrain falls. That was so close to going in the pit. Yeah, able to get back on the point. The contest is now on the point as Spoiled Milk builds up past Smoothbrain percentage. Kills going back and forth. Murasaki doing a great job here on the main, picking safety out of the fight. The trade for Drago. There goes Moira into the pit. Great play by Hilo. Earthshatter, but Remark's going to use the fade just to avoid it. Doomfist comes back into the fight. Murasaki eliminated. Remark eliminated. The Combo Breaker wants to make sure that this overtime week doesn't burn down. And Spoiled Milk comes away with that win right here. As a wrecking ball, the point almost pile drops on the point, is eventually removed from Combo Breaker, making great use of that pin, overtime burning down, and that will do it. Spoiled Milk going one up in this series.
Yeah, what a great performance there from Spoiled Milk as well. They're able to play the game they want to play here. Ignore the fact that I said, you know, you pretty much have to run Orisa here. They go, what do you know? Yeah. And they make it work with the Reinhardt. Eventually they do have the wrecking ball in overtime, but it is the Reinhardt putting in the work there on their main tank. But it is Combo Breaker putting in the work there, punching everyone around on that point, getting so much value out of the Doomfist there. Just some great plays there, and Cool DBZ putting in a fair bit of work themselves with those Hellfire shotguns to boot.
Indeed, great work all round from Spoiled Milkins. A remarkably consistent composition from them. Really sticking it out, keeping that Reinhardt in the whole time. A little bit of changes from the healing and the DPS line, but in the end, if it works, it works. It was up to Smoothbrain to try and make some changes. We saw on the second point, they dropped the Pharmacy, they picked up the May, picked up the Reaper, picked up the Orisa, but ultimately it didn't work out for them. So we'll see if they choose to make any more changes coming to the next map. We'll see where they choose to take us. We're on to Hybrid again.
And it looks like we'll be heading over to Numbani again, which, again, I'm surprised. I thought of the 3 maps in this pool, it would probably be the least popular, and so far it is, well, it's been very popular tonight, which is great for us because it's not often we get to see Numbani. And as we were saying in our previous match, there are so many different compositions that you bring out on this map. It does make for a very different experience. I can certainly
Indeed.
understand wanting to get away from RK9's Reinhardt on King's Road, so can't disagree with the choice here.
No, and we saw Dive put a great effect on the last match, so I'll be curious to see if either team pulls it out. We haven't seen any signs of Dive. We've only seen the Reinhardt and the Orisa pulled out. It's still doable. You can hold up on the high ground, mainly on the right. Let the other team come to you up the stairs. Although and then if they come up Main Street or they go around the outside, then you just drop down to contest them. But I don't think these teams are going to opt into that. They know that Nabani is right for Dive, and they, perhaps, Priorities are going to opt into it.
Yeah, it does look like both of these teams leaning into it quite heavily. The defenders obviously already committing that onto the point there. They'll be running Doomfist and Tracer. Defensive Tracer on this map is a bit of an interesting pick. But I suppose if you're expecting an attack Tracer, which you often do, it can be a good one if you've got a good Tracer to be able to try and keep pace with her and harass. Looks like Cool DBZ is actually going to be starting posted for... No, maybe just doing some initial scouting. Thinking maybe going for the aggressive opening play, but not so much as they pull back. Drago actually on the Wrecking Ball. So, a bit of a different attack coming in from here, and Murasaki's going to be playing from the sky with that Pharah. Meanwhile, my attack on the Sombra, so we could be seeing that EMP, but sort of composition normally quite spread out.
Murasaki making a beeline straight for Doppo, able to remove the Lucio from the fight. Makes great use of that damage boost coming from the Mercy. And just like that, Smooth Brain will move on to the point. They're so close to the first tick. The little Tracer, Cool DBZ is doing their best, and they've actually bought time for the rest of the team to come back. So now the numbers advantage is slightly with the defense, and they're preventing any progress from coming through. There's a hack from my tag onto Zapando, who will be forced to back away. But with a support trade on either side, still an all-out brawl on the point. Pattern progress has reset. For Smooth Brain, but they're starting to build it back up again. They've got the numbers here. These hacks coming through from my attack are proving decisive, forcing one member back or another. Oh, and the barrage comes out from Murasaki, able to remove Zapando from mech. There was a nice defense matrix there coming from Boone to keep the Pharah alive just long enough to finish the ultimate. But in the end, my attack is going to use that EMP hit only to combo breaker, so a little dicey on the use of that ultimate. Such a good ultimate to have, and in the end you've thrown it into a losing fight.
Yeah, the defense is going to hold out here, and in the end, no progress altogether, but almost 2 minutes left off that clock. Now Combo Breaker going to use that Meteor Strength probably just to retreat here, considering their low health. Is going to be, using that to get out of there. But, I mean, Doomfist, the ult is almost the cherry on top. They're all about just punching people into walls. Combo Breaker has been doing plenty of that so far. I was a little worried about how that was going to stand up against the Pharah and Sombra, but no, Combo Breaker's been putting in the work.
Although safety removed from the fight by Remark is going to make this attack a lot easier. There's no resurrection available. There's a self-destruct over the top to clear some space on the point from Zapando. Gets back into mech. RK9 batters around Drago, removes the Wrecking Ball from the fight. But the kills are still in Smooth Brain's favour. They've got the numbers advantage on the point. There's a coalescence from Remark in support. Going to be hunting down Doppo. Boone will clean up the kills. And this time might be the time for Smooth Brain to make some progress on the point. It's almost up to that first tick which they got to before. Zapando's still on the point, buying some time, but is knocked out of mech and eventually eliminated from the fight. Finally, Smooth Brain ticks up past that first tick mark, and it looks like they're going to capture all 3 ticks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only hope there was Combo Breaker on the Doomfist maybe start swinging things back by putting Speebles into walls, and they were not going to let him do that. Take him down quickly. Ooh! Ooh, nice pulse bomb, but unfortunately catches Cool in the process as well. Ooh, speaking of pulse bombs, Zapando's going to eat that one. This is going to be an opportunity here to come forward and try and set up a spawn camp.
Indeed, it will. Combo Breaker wants to make sure that spawn camp is effective, removing Murasaki from the fight. There's proximity mines invested by Drago to clear a little space for the cart to come through. The cart, of course, unperturbed by any proximity mines, particularly if they're from the friendly team. Straight to the way as Drago's taken out of the fight, but RK9 falls afoul of the proximity mines even after the Wrecking Ball is gone. Combo Breaker dives in trying to get something done, but the hack will make sure the Doomfist can't get away. As safety throws themselves at the mercy of the mines and comes off second best.
Yeah, I really do like that minefield because it split the team in half and it also really denies the Doomfist the ability to jump in there. Like, Doomfist does not want to go jumping into a minefield, and so it split them in half. The Doomfist wasn't able to contribute, and they were able to whittle down the members caught on the wrong side and win out the fight from there. So, works out really well there. Great minefield from Drago. That's going to get the progress underway here.
MyTac's been doing a really good job with the with the hack so far. The first EMP not so effective. He's hoping that the second one, which has been built up, is going to be much more effective. As Combo Break dives in, immediately removes Murasaki from the fight again. That's a 6-man EMP, followed up by the self-destruct from Boone. That's going to clear the defenders off the point. Smooth Brain is going to push through.
Yeah, it's incredible EMP there, catching the whole team, and at the best time, make sure no one is getting away from that self-destruct. Great 1-2 punch combo there. That's going to see the payload rolling through. Now the defense moving over into this third stage of the map. Let's see if they swap off these dive tanks back onto the Reinhardt here after they use up these ultimates.
Drago's so close to that proximity mine. If they get put to as good use as they were the first time, Wrecking Ball though is low, forced to back away just to receive the healing. Gets back in there with the proximity mine, self-destruct from Zapano is going to clear that minefield away as Combo Break full deep is in. Make use of that space to dive in and clean up all these squishy little heroes off the side of Smooth Brain. The defense is going to hold solid.
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, they invested in both their tank ultimates there, but as I said, I imagine they're looking to just invest those and maybe swap off soon afterwards. So I think this is all part of the plan. Winning a fight out of that.
Drago's staying on the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, it is interesting to see the attackers still sticking with that. I'm wondering if there is a greater plan there. I mean, the Wrecking Ball. He's had some good moments with it. Heck, he's having some great moments with it right now. So, I mean, it's working for them. But I imagine we see the defenders swap over to a Reinhardt-based comp here.
Well, maybe not. They're willing to match dive with dive. There's some kind of agreement here that, you know, if you don't play big front shield, we won't play big front shield. But that fight definitely, I think, carried by Hilo, that sound barrier, which gave Smooth Brain the survivability they need to withstand whatever Spore Nuke threw at them. Now they're pushing around the final corner. This could be the final fight of the map.
Yeah, the early kill on the combo breaker is just going to put a lot of pressure onto the defenders here.
Oh, Boone gets caught on the tree. Not going to be as effective as last time. Full 50% removes MyTac from the fight. Did MyTac just die mid-EMP? I think they might have. Cool 50% follows up with a great pulse bomb onto Remark. Doppo getting in there, making sure Hilo is sent back to spawn. A charitable act there. You go ferry your teammates back from spawn.
And that's big, yeah. Catching out that EMP, cancelling it before it's going off. I mean, they were down combo breaker. They managed to trade out despite that, win out the fight here. And that's going to put them in a great position. 1 minute left on the clock. The attackers have pretty much had their ultimates reset here. They are going to have the minefield and pulse bomb on the line. That's all they're going to get. Meanwhile, the defenders have still got a sound barrier. So this is looking pretty good to try and stop this one here.
So Murasaki may want a Hail Mary pulse bomb onto Doppo to remove them from the fight. Combo Breaker gets the first over the defense. There you go, the pulse bomb takes safety out of the fight. That's the brigade out of the way. Tracer can go wild, not worried about a stun, not worried about a shield. And the proximity mine is going to make sure the approach to the cart for Spoiled Milk so risky. There's explosives everywhere. As they come out of spawn, the car is so close. It's there. No one from Spoiled Milk able to touch even with the sound barrier from Doppo. What a push by Smooth Brain.
Yeah, and I guess at this point I'll just shut the hell up because I thought the defenders would have an advantage in there. The attackers come out absolutely swinging and put me back in my place. Smooth Brain able to get that one across the line. 26 seconds left on the clock there. And we just have a bit of a brief pause here now due to one of the players needing to quickly reconnect. But we should be back underway in just a moment.
Well, it's interesting that we saw that both teams stay on the dive. You just got to feel that if Spoiled Milk have changed off, could they have forced a requisite change from Smooth Brain, and then perhaps reduce the effectiveness of their attack?
Maybe. I mean, it is certainly a lot easier to deal with those large minefields with a Reinhardt hammer, able to quickly swing down those mines. But I mean, when the minefields are being dropped in there, they're not in a position to do something about the mines. Really good use of the wrecking ball there from Drago. He's dropping the minefields at these moments that become so hard to deal with. And I mean, what was really going wrong for the defense there is Combo Breaker going down at the start of the fight for a second time. The first time, the rest of the team bailed him out, but that time goes down in the room hunting for an early pick, and that just allows this attack to come surging through with that early man advantage.
Yep, and we saw the result of that Smoothbrain finishing 26 seconds left on the clock, and that's a crucial 26 seconds left.
Yeah.
It's not much time, but it does mean that even if Spoiled Milk finish with over a minute left on the clock, Smoothbrain is guaranteed a second attack.
Yeah, it's always good to finish with time, and Numbani is not a map where you are guaranteed to finish with any time in the bank, so you've got to be happy with that one. Now we've got another Torbjorn-based defense here coming out. Murasaki over on the Torb. Mythak is going to be on that Reaper. Does mean there isn't any sort of long-range hit scan, so a Farah could be quite potent here, but at the moment we do have the Doomfist Tracer. We'll see if the early scouting leads to any sort of composition swaps on this attack.
Looks like they've run up the street. You've got the subtle hint of what the defense is running, and right now they're happy to stick with that. We see the DPS wrap around the back, Combo Breaker and Cool DBZ on the outside of the map on the attacker's left. And they're going to go straight in on the dive on top of the turret. RK9 takes out the turret. That's the first victim of the fight. And already Spoiled Milk has a tick on the point. Finally, Boone comes out to contest, but they come down straight into the fist of Combo Breaker, who eliminates that Diva from the mech and from the fight. And now the side of Smoothbrain stuck up on top, but they've got to drop down to contest the point. They do, but they just run right into the waiting maws of Spoiled Milk. There is a resurrection there by Hilo onto Boone of all people. The mech is back in the fight, so a little more time being bought by Smoothbrain, but ultimately it is a losing battle. They're just shaving a little bit more time off the clock as Spoiled Milk takes the point.
Absolutely, and maybe a bit of a redemption arc for Combo Breaker in here, putting in so much work here in the opening engagement. Really being absolutely crucial. Shut down that Reaper, which is perhaps the biggest threat, although Mythak just gets the better of him there, but too little, too late, and safety is there to bring Combo Breaker up. So, once again, they will be pushing forwards. Just catching a couple of people in the split spawn there is going to buy them so much space to push this payload.
Indeed, and we're seeing that dive comp coming back out from Smoothbrain. Although, my attack not on the Sombra this time, it is Murasaki.
Yeah, the defense in a bit of a rough spot, although, yeah, Combo Breaker gets caught out again by my attack. So, very feast or famine here. The res is going to come through, so safety bringing them back once more. They're getting another chance at this, but I think certainly if I was Combo Breaker's teammate at this point, I'd be starting to tilt a little bit. Now, that time they were hacked, so benefit of the doubt there. Very hard to get away when you get hacked mid-punch. It was trying on the way out, but this is going to be...
the Death Possum takes Cool DBZ out of the fight. Smoothbrain did a really good job there. They wrapped around the back, got on the cart, forced Spoiled Milk to come back to them because they weren't going to give away any free capture progress.
Yeah, and Murasaki is specifically holding onto those hacks, trying to shut down Combo Breaker. Because obviously that Doomfist can be very, very impactful if left unchecked. But because Combo is playing so aggressively, if you can get a hack onto the Doomfist while he's in amongst your team, that is a dead Doomfist. And they've worked that out, and they're taking advantage of that.
The EMP is there, the self-destructor over the top, the combo picks up just Cool DBZ, but Mythak is able to find safety on the outside of the fight, meaning that Tracers are going to have to run all the way back from spawn, and currently, Spoiled Milk, 2 members down, they're going to back off, cut their losses.
Yeah, Murasaki just pushing forwards, trying to get a little bit of extra charge, starting to build up to that next EMP. And, well, you got to look at how they're going to crack open this defense, the members of Spoiled Milk, because it looks like we will be seeing some swaps coming through. So Pando is moved over to the Zaya, Safety's moving over to the Brig, going to get Dopo over onto the Ana. So I imagine that Winston's probably going to fire off that Primal and be swapping over to the Reinhardt.
Well, no Primal yet. There it is, okay? The Coalescence enough to force it out. As Smoothbrain loses Drago at the start of the fight, so Remark not quite quick enough to keep their Wrecking Ball alive. But Murasaki over the top does not need an EMP to get the job done. Has that little SMG, and that is enough damage coming out. Already back up to 62% of EMP.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely getting the work in here on that. We're going to see the Reinhardt coming up now as RK9 takes the jump off the map. No, it's staying on the Winston. I'm very confused. Who runs Winston Zarya? Who does that? Apparently these guys.
Masochists. So we've seen the run, but maybe they've got something in their pocket ready and waiting. Maybe that I'm not running a big shield if you don't. Agreement is still in play. And we're seeing Smoothbrain just pushing forward. They're sitting on the cart right now, daring Spoiled Milk to come at them, and Spoiled Milk is happy to play into that. Oh, the Wraith Bomb forced out by Martak, who has the Death Blossom sitting on top of the cart, going to use it to remove Cool Deeper's Zip, but is eliminated by a combination of the healers from Spoiled Milk. Oh no, Combo Breaker comes down after the Meteor Strike, but is immediately eliminated from the fight as Safety was the recipient of the Nano Boost in that fight. Nano Boost of Brigitte.
I think it was just to keep the Brig alive because there was a lot of pressure on them at the time. But it definitely paid off as it meant the Wrecking Ball just had to go away. Those dive heroes that were harassing her just like needed to give some distance because a Nano Brigader is something to fear. And with that, they get the payload through the second point. 2.5 minutes on the clock. They're making some pretty great time here. I'm still confused by the Winston. But that's a great EMP.
Another EMP bomb combo takes out two. Drago follows up onto Zapando. And Smoothbrain has practiced this strat because it is working every time they use it.
Yeah, it's really great to see. It's such a dangerous combo because, I mean, what counterplay is there? Your abilities get turned off.
The counterplay is just an Alt F4, don't play at all.
The old War Games strat.
Yeah. The Combo Breaker onto the Sombra of their own now. It's Cool DBZ takes Mytag out of the fight. The counter McCree doing a great job. There's a Cool DBZ. It follows up with a Deadeye. If Moon was out of mech, great play, great combination there. Getting the Diva out of mech and then following up with the Deadeye to ensure the kill. The proximity mines on the cart will make it a little harder to push in. Did you know that the cart actually keeps the mines on it if it moves? That's a little cruel. They're just trying to push this cart and you put mines on it. Anyway, RK9 is hacked, but it's going to get away. The Tesla Cannon proving far more than a match for Murasaki. As the rest of Smoothbrain comes out to contest the cart. Now Drago goes low, he's getting the healing there. Has Remark right behind them, pumping out those heals. Also back up eventually. Smoke Milk sitting on top. Yep.
And we're still just waiting for the Sombra to get back before the attackers really commit into this one.
It's going to be an EMP fight here. Combo break around the outside may have been spotted out by Murasaki. There you go. The EMP goes off. It hits two. Drago immediately eliminated. Hilo has been hacked. The sound barrier cannot be used. It comes out late, but it's not going to be enough. There's two members caught in a Graviton Surge on the side of the map. Hilo just has the sound barrier. Dancing around the cart will be eliminated. In the end, Boiled Milk will capture the cart, but they only did it about 8 seconds faster than Smoothbrain.
Score.
Yeah, I mean, again, Numbani, you just got to be happy that you're finishing the map at all. That 18-second advantage in the time bank, you'll definitely take that. I'm still just trying to wrap my head around this Winston, Zarya, Brig, Anna. Like Zarya, Brig, Anna, like surely you play Reinhardt, but no, they stick on the Winston. They make it work. It puts in the numbers. I don't understand it, but it's working.
And to Smoothbrain, they're running a Wrecking Ball. They're not running a shield. And it's still working for them. They pushed the whole way. They were almost able to hold Spoiled Milk. I mean, can this match get any weirder?
I mean, I understand not running a main tank when you're running something like the Sombra on DPS. You know, you're not relying on you're not running DPS that are sort of relying on a shield to make things work. And Drago's playing the Wrecking Ball exceptionally well, getting very disruptive with it. If you're running Sombra Doomfist, or if you're running against a Sombra Doomfist, I can see why you don't bother with a main shield, because neither of those heroes are really doing that front-loaded damage. But just when you've got a whole comp that is screaming for a Reinhardt and you're running a Winston, I I'm not going to get over this. It's not going to happen. I don't understand it.
Well, you're going to get your wish. There is finally a big shield on the side of Spoiled Milk on the defense. Orisa on the table to support this bunker.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like, Murasaki's been playing so well on the Sombra. I do wonder why you go for a bunker against that, considering that Sombra is one of the best ways to open up a bunker. And,
Although, then again, the bunker is currently
it's
working.
working.
They almost gave up a tick, but the stall there from Zapando on the point was just enough to give Cool Deeper Z enough time to rotate around, get into position, and cut down all the members of Smooth Brain. Zoppo brought back into the fight. Nice little res from safety. And now there's only 6 seconds left on the clock. Smooth Brain is stuck in that little room. They've got to get out, but Combo Breaker is in the way. I take that back. Remark removes Combo Breaker out of the way. Combo broken. And there's a configuration tank raining down fire onto the point. Boone, his mech will not be long for this world. Additionally, Hilo will be removed halfway to the sand barrier. Boone's gone. Drago's back, has the proximity mines, lays them out at the point. Self-destruct over the top will clear them off, as well as clearing off the Wrecking Ball. The Bastion's their goal. Oh, Cold Dip had the coalescence and the Mercy healing, but it wasn't enough. Murasaki able to eliminate the Bastion and get a great EMP off. But that, unfortunately, the Sombra was all that was left. Smooth Brain not going to capture a tick.
And that's a great position here for Spoiled Milk, who may be able to bring themselves to match point here. All they need to do is get that one tick. And, I mean, they obviously know what they're doing better than I am, so I'm not even going to say anything at this point, because they ran the Winston, it worked for them. They ran the bunker against a good Sombra, it's working for them. So I'm just going to stop telling them how to play the game and let them do their thing, because they are operating on a whole nother level.
Indeed they are. We'll see if Smooth Brain chooses to swap anything up. Do they think that the dive will save them here? Or will they go maybe a more bunkery composition like we saw from Spoiled Milk? Right now we're seeing it might be the case where they're okay with the dive.
Well, Murasaki's been playing exceptionally well here on this Sombra. I mean, in the end, it hasn't been enough, but I can't take that away from Murasaki. And with Combo Breaker presenting such a threat on that Doomfist, I don't disagree with running the Sombra there just as an option to hack out the Doomfist. The amount of times that Combo Breaker has died because they've gotten hacked, because they've gotten CC'd, I absolutely understand why you want to stick with the tools to make Combo's life hard, because it really has been, when Combo Breaker has been free to just punch through these fights, the fights are going one way, and when they shut him down hard, the fights are going the other way. That has been the difference.
So the key will be if any members of Spoiled Milk are able to build up their ultimates in the minute they have to them. The rush to the point has already wasted 18 minutes off the clock, and the defensive Smooth Brain is getting very aggressive, but they lose Boone's mech almost immediately. So, not the start you want. Combo Breaker gets the better of Murasaki, takes Boone out of the fight, and now the numbers are all in Spoiled Milk's favor. They're going to march on the point. There's not going to be any contest coming through for Smooth Brain. Spoiled Milk put themselves on match point.
Yeah, that's a great performance there. They absolutely were ready for that defensive dive and punished it super hard. So I like the aggression coming out from Smooth Brain, and but in the end, just doesn't pay off there.
Oh, this EMP with
yeah, the EMP bomb there, so big.
Such a great combo, and they pulled off a few times. So well done to Smooth Brain for pulling out that combo and making it work for them. But it is currently all in the favor of Spoiled Milk. They're on match point, Peronius, and as we go into Assault, is there anything that Smooth Brain can do? Can an Assault map that is more beneficial to dive save them?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, you've got to be worried about running dive here, right? Because Spoiled Milk have just done it so well. I think if anything, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you're Smooth Brain, maybe you want to take it to Volskaya. It's a good Sombra map. Murasaki was doing well on Sombra, but it looks like, I mean, we never go to Volskaya. I love Volskaya. Why do we play Volskaya anymore? It looks like we'll be going to everyone's favorite Saltamura instead.
Saltamura? No, I don't know. Why are they mining salt in Saltamura? Doesn't seem like I didn't think Japan's major export was salt, but I mean, turns out Overwatch players are much better at economics than the Japanese government.
I don't know about that. We've just got lots of salt.
So yeah, Smooth, and this is Smooth Brain's pick. So this is where they're going to feel comfortable, and dive is definitely a possibility here. You can march up to the gate as long as you can get through the gate without someone being picked off. You can make your leap straight to the point. You can go around to the right through the rooms and around the high ground. So you've plenty of options available for the attacking team.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different ways to play this. The really hard part becomes, as always on Assault, that second point. Trying to take away that high ground from the attackers can just be from the defenders rather can just be so difficult, because you have to win a fight to even get the positioning to then attack the point. And by the time you can finally attack the point, the defenders are respawning again. And if you just ignore it, then they just shoot you from the high ground. So it's there is no easy way to win. I mean, generally the conventional wisdom is you just snowball it from. You cap first, you snowball it, and then you don't have the drawn-out fight, because the moment things get drawn out on that second point, it can take such a long time to get anything going there. But I mean, that's true on all 2CP, right?
Indeed it is, and I'm looking for the sneaky strats. Break out the Symmetro. Hanamura is really good for that. First point, you can get onto the point with a cheeky telly. Even second point to go. I've seen teams run it. It's less common, but on top of the point with there's that little. I don't know why why is there a roof inside? It doesn't make any sense.
It's like for the mini shrine or something, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, so you're right. The roof of the shrine. You can telly onto that. Get the drop on the defending team. All kinds of weird and wacky things you can do. They're perhaps not going to be coming out from these teams, just based on what they're hovering over right now. The defense, spoiled milk, just your standard affair. Combo breaker, continuing on this Doomfist, which they've proved so vital on.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a favoured hero. I mean, the name is probably chosen for that hero specifically, because of course that is one of Doomfist's voice lines. But Cool DBZ will be backing up on the Ashe. So a bit of a mixed comp there with the long range damage there. Murasaki is going to actually be mirroring the Doomfist, and Mytak on the Mei is going to. Well, I think maybe the Mei is there as like a counter Mei to potentially cancel out a defending Mei wall, but tries to cut the team off, but the defenders are having none of that, and this is looking pretty good so far for this first fight.
Indeed it is. Murasaki maybe, opting for the if you can't beat them, join them kind of motto for this team, but so far not proving rather fruitful, as Cold DBZ has absolutely no fear hanging out on top of this gate.
Okay, they will be sticking with the Mei even though there's no defensive Mei, so looking to try and split the team in half. The problem is that, Doomfist doesn't care so much about Mei walls, and he's the one who's most likely going to be overextending. That said, Go gets counter.
Drago got very aggressive there, swinging through the tanks, taken down, but Murasaki and Boone doing a great job taking out two people on their own. And this might be what Smooth Brain needs, so they lose Boone trying to get in, and all of a sudden, it's even. And you've got this, your respawns are coming back a little slower.
Yeah, Drago back now, going to step forwards, and that's a Nano Doom.
Oh, it gets Cool DBZ out of the fight. There's a Bob on the field. So Cool DBZ has invested that. It takes Drago out of the fight. Bob is still plugging away in the backline. No one paying any attention. Murasaki just ignoring it, getting kills of their own, but Combo Breaker back in the fight eliminates Mytak. And this defense looks like it might be able to hold on here.
Might be holding on, but they are still taking late casualties. There's still going to be an opportunity for there was going to be an opportunity for the attackers to maybe group up. Zapando puts an end to that one with a parting shot onto Hilo there, and that's going to give the defense a chance to regroup, get their numbers back in line. So the attackers still respawning now, and it's going to be a 6v6 fight again. 1 minute 45 back on the clock. This defense is holding out pretty well here so far.
Indeed it is. They've burned off a lot of time, but they're facing into an Earth Shatter and a Blizzard. As a Graviton Surge, Afra Zapando going to be holding the front line of Smoothbrain in place for the rest of the team to follow up. Cool DBZ picking up the final 3 kills of the fight. That was a brilliantly placed grab.
Yeah, very nicely played there, and Cool DBZ getting the explosive dynamite into that as well to just get in a bunch of damage, help build towards that ult charge. Still a long way to the next Bob, but maybe not that long. Cool DBZ getting a lot of approach damage, and Murasaki actually already down. Ooh, there goes the Earth Shatter.
And Spoiled Milk willing to push out into the attacking side of the map. They push into a blizzard, so nice timing by MyTac, but no follow-up coming through. And indeed, the May is removing the fight. Doppo doing the job there. And again, Smoothbrain forced back, and now they're down to 45 seconds as Combo Breaker not... Okay, there's no rest for the Wicked here. Spoiled Milk moving in. Drago takes safety out of the fight, but Bob again takes Murasaki out of the fight. Boone is down. The Meteor Strike comes down, doesn't quite follow up on any kills. Remark not able to get away with the life. Cool DBZ following up on that one. And Smoothbrain, what can they do?
Yeah, I think that Spoiled Milk's got their number. It looks like things are starting to come undone here. So they're getting a little sloppier here, and like Spoiled Milk, they're absolutely set up to punish that. And that said, MyTac taking out Cool DBZ. This is maybe the opening they need.
Yeah, finally a counter grab online for Boone. Grabs 2. There's a nice bio grenade to ensure those tanks don't get any healing, but there's no follow-up kills coming through. As I say that, Drago and Murasaki finally open up. The Tracer now in play for Murasaki. No Doomfist view. It's a great bio grenade and the point from Doppo, but no one's going to be there to follow up on it. They're going to capture the first point, but they do it in overtime, so only 3 minutes left for their point B attack.
Yeah, and that is time that, well, I mean, if it took them that long to take point A, the much harder to take point B is going to be definitely a challenge. And,
they're quick about it. They'll have ultimates to do it with that won't be able to be countered.
That's true. They do have the opportunity here to snowball, but, I mean, the defenders are playing this so well, and Cool DBZ putting in a lot of early poke damage here. At 74%, 75% already, there is the real opportunity of having that Bob online. Ooh,
that's interesting positioning for the defenders. They've opened themselves up to that Earth Shatter from Drago, who finishes up 2 with the charge. They lose Hilo on the entry, but then Combo Breaker and Zapanda going down for the defense is going to make it so much harder. The Pulse Bomb isn't even needed to get the kill onto Arcanine. So far, 1 tick captured, 2 ticks captured for Smoothbrain. They might get the snowball after all. Safety finally gets out on the point, just stop it at 97%. There's a blizzard on the point. Bob won't get caught, then the blizzard will wear away. Bob chews through Drago. Zapando and Arcanine now come out onto the point. This defense is going to hold solid, but that was a scary, scary moment for Spoiled Milk.
Yeah, that is coming right down to the wire there in the end. That Bob being the difference maker there. 96.6%. Very rarely see it much higher than that. That said, 1:30 on the clock. There's still an opportunity here to tap that one in, but the defense now starting to get their ultimates online. It's going to be tricky to do it.
Indeed, at least coming to this fight, there's a chance they will have the Earth Shatter and the Sound Barrier and the Grab available to them. We'll see if they're any better than those that come out from Spoiled Milk. Going to have to rally themselves, and a nice spread out composition from Spoiled Milk. They're ready for wherever Smoothbrain chooses to come from. As the Nano Boost is the first thing invested, Combo Breaker walled off. Nice play by MyTac to deny a lot of that Nano Boost pressure coming in from the Doomfist, but the rest of Spoiled Milk comes in over the top, able to pick up the kills. Combo Breaker's Meteor Strike at the end just to finish off Boone. And with 45 seconds left on the clock, there's not much time remaining for Smoothbrain.
Yeah, they've got one more shot at this one, and I mean, let's look at what tools they are going to be having. A lot of their tools online for this one, so they've got the grab now, but that might be hard to leverage until they actually get onto the point. They're going to have the Earth Shatter soon, but again, that might be a bit hard. The Blizzard a little further away. The Pulse Bomb should be coming online shortly, and they're going to get that Sound Barrier during the fight. So they potentially got the tools to make this happen. They have to worry about Zapando's grab, though. That could pretty much end things before it starts.
And it might do it. There's grouped up so many members. Their Combo Breaker starting out with a kill onto Remark. Fire Grenade will deny any healing coming through from Hilo, who is immediately removed from the front. There's a Blizzard on the high grab. MyTac is Going to throw that out, but not going to capture anyone. The rest of Spoiled Milk has folded down at the point. They want to stop any possible capture progress. Bob on the field picks up 2. Bob has been the hero of this point B defense so far, and Spoiled Milk will prevent the capture, but Smoothbrain did capture 97% of the points.
Yeah, I mean it's a respectable showing. You like to get the full capture, but this is literally the next best thing. Still an opportunity here for them, but they're going to have to really pick up their game because it really does look like at this point Spoiled Milk are the ones in the driver's seat. They are in control of this game. Smoothbrain need to do something to upset the apple cart here. Otherwise, I can't see them making that cap through. So I'd like to see them come out swinging with something new and different that catches Spoiled Milk off guard completely and is able to get them through and snowball this quickly. That's the level of sudden upset that you need to shift the momentum in this game.
Indeed, and that might just be the key to them not only staying in this match, but pick up another map or two, taking us to that elusive map 5. Just a little bit of momentum, a little bit of positive attitude. With that map win in the back pocket, could make all the difference. Like what they're rolling out on right now, it's a very defensive composition. It's maybe not magic, but it is the smart thing to do. Lots of very defensive heroes on the table for Smoothbrain right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine they're going to be continuing to put resources into Combo Breaker, trying to channel those Zarya bubbles onto him, let him get the work done. But we'll see how that comes out here because, well, Smoothbrain, they've got the defense here. Ooh, it's a good start by my
That's a good start. The Combo Breaker just sailed in over the back. Okay, that has been spotted out. Some icicles flying in the Doomfist direction. They're going to wait in the cherry tree. They may. Oh! Nice little icicle from Murasaki. Forces Doomfist to go for the large health pack, and the wall in the point is going to split up.
Did he just get the perfect quick charge?
I think he might have. He's got killed in the backline, though. And the rest of Smoothbrain is there to ensure the kills are available for them. Spoiled Milk not going to make any progress in this minute.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I mean, you nailed in a competitive match a perfect cliff charge. That's it, you've won. Go home.
Well, they may just be about to if they get this attack on the road.
Absolutely, we'll see. Now, RK9 stepping forwards here.
Oh, gets trapped by the wall, goes very low. The Zarya bubble will save them for a brief second, but that'll be burst down almost immediately. Drago doing a great job finishing that, working their way up to the Earth Shatter. Oh, that was a nice play by MyTag. Popped up in the window, took safety down, and just jumped back down to the safety of the low ground.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. This is Spoiled Milk once again in complete control of the match here. No, this is Smoothbrain.
Smoothbrain.
Never mind. Smoothbrain are in control. This is good. This is good for them. This is what we need.
And they've got ultimates online now. We could see the Bob in play. There's a Nano Boost, an Earth Shatter almost there. The Valkyrie in support will be the first ultimate invested by Hilo. Combo Breaker goes and gets slept. Finished off by MyTag. There's traded Earth Shatters at the front, but no one is going to be laid down off the back of those. And MyTag sitting there plugging away with that Asher's rifle. It's going to finish up that fight for Smoothbrain, and this has been a nice defense from them.
Yeah, this is looking really good. If they can keep this up, then maybe they have a hope in this series after all. Because this is what they need to do. They need to get the full hold here. They need to shut out Spoiled Milk. And so far, with 2 minutes down, and MyTag picking up Cool DBZ again at the start of the fight, it's looking pretty good. We've seen RK9 swapping over to the Winston, so not having a lot of luck in the Ryan v Ryan battles. Sick of getting walled off and killed. This is looking pretty good for the defense, and that Bob's going to buy a lot of extra time as well. There's really only going to be 2 attempts left here for the attackers to break through this, and they've still got a Blizzard to contend with as well.
And the Graviton Surge from Boone is about to be back online. It's going to make pushing through this choke point very difficult. RK9 makes the first approach, jumps to the point, forces some members of the defense back. The Blizzard will stop anyone else coming through the gate, but there's a Bob on the point. Bob not stopping the Blizzard and capping the point at the same time. Bob doing all the work, allowing so much space for Combo Breaker to get in, who picks up 2 just like that. Spoiled Milk going to get on the point and capture point A.
Sometimes I guess you've just got to swap off the Reinhardt over to the Winston, but they're able to once again pull that one out. Now they're going to go back onto the Reinhardt now here for the second point. Safety swapping over to the Lucio to provide the taxi. They're trying to push this one forwards. The one thing that Smooth Brains have going for them is they didn't use up their Zarya ult in that previous fight. So they've still got the grab online, they've got a shatter as well, they've got some good defensive tools. And, well, 3 minutes to hold here. It's not impossible, given how difficult this second point can be.
Well, no, we just saw Spoiled Milk do the exact same thing. The combo breaker getting in early, will run straight into the Graviton Surge. The wall will pull Arcanine up out of the grab somehow. I don't know how that works. Why wasn't the wall crushed into the gravity? Who knows? But it is Smooth Brain who will come away with that fight win off the back of that great grab.
Yeah, and it's a good wall there because it splits the front line off from the healers in that as well, which means that despite the fact that there's a lot of burst healing available there, Anna's not able to get any of the healing through the wall, so it allows them to whittle down those tanks with the tanks of their own.
An interesting approach now coming from Spoiled Milk. They're taking the low ground. This is not an attack approach you see, but Combo Break has identified exactly where the supports are. Get to harass them down. Oh, almost gets the Meteor Strike down on Hilo, but has forced the Mercy. Oh no, Hilo popped out of spawn. Combo Breaker wasn't gone. Get the Meteor Strike. There's no Valkyrie in play, but in the meantime, the rest of Smooth Brain is getting the job done. Ash on the point, Bob on the point, courtesy of my attack. We'll clean up the rest of Spoiled Milk, and again, another successful defense so far.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good there. They did have to commit their Earth Shatter there as well as Bob. A couple of resources used on that one. However, they've still got the Blizzard. They've still got both their defensive ultimates. Still got a lot of tools there. And the attackers, they're approaching a Bob of their own. They've got a Nano, but not a lot of other options there. So you think maybe, just maybe, there's an opportunity here. I mean, this fight, the attackers probably just want to bleed out as many resources as they can and then try and win the next one.
Smooth Brain is smart about it. They won't invest many resources, and with my attack pulling out 3Ks like that, you're not going to need it. There you go. Combo Breaker eventually hunts the Ashe down, but it is too little too late. They're going to get out along with Zabando with their lives.
That's better.
With that, yeah. So the attackers, again, nothing invested there, but the next fight's going to be the one they're playing to win. They're going to have that grab online. Shatter probably coming up during the fight, as well as Meteor Strike as well. But the defenders, I mean, they did use their Nano in that one, but that's all they've really used. So a lot of options about to come online as well. It's going to come down to whether or not Murasaki can land a big Blizzard or not.
It's Blizzard v Graviton Surge right now. There's Nano Boost onto Combo Breaker, who's frozen. Not quite able to make much use of it. The Bob is in place, sitting on the point, plugging damage into Drago, who will be out of the fight. The Blizzard from Murasaki comes down on the point, but doesn't capture anyone from the side of Spoiled Milk, and they're cleaning up. They've got the kills they need. The Meteor Strike comes out for his remark on the fight. It's all blue on the point. No one from Smooth Brain. Looks like they can even get out of spawn. And that will do it. Spoiled Milk take Hanamura and take the match.
And that is our second 3-0 for the evening, but Spoiled Milk looking dominant in these matches. Smooth Brain definitely had their moments where they were fighting back strong, and a lot of the time it did come down to how well they could control Combo Breaker on the Doomfist, but in the end, Spoiled Milk are able to, well, they're able to get their fortunes going back that way. They show that they are definitely a strong team to be feared here in this division. And, well, with performance like that, can you blame them?
No, you can't. My Tech making a great showing on the Ashe in that play of the game, showing just how the lead they were, but weren't quite able to carry their team the whole way, as you said, and as we all just saw. So, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I think the main focus of that match that we talked about a lot, and a lot of the play was focused on, was Combo Breaker on that Doomfist. Stuck on it a lot, and it's not something you typically see from players these days, sticking on the Doomfist for most of a match, Peronius.
Yeah, absolutely. But it really was the difference maker. Like, in the fights where Combo Breaker was getting controlled, getting CC'd, getting deleted early, Spoiled Milk were losing those fights, and Smooth Brain were making it look so easy. The moment Combo Breaker wasn't controlled, he would punch 2-3 people through walls as the opening pick, and then it was just easy cleanup from there. Like, it really was the big difference maker so often. And it was forcing Smoothbrain to have to commit all of these resources into just controlling this one player. And that meant that a couple of times, even if they didn't manage, even if like all they did was manage to force Combo Breaker to have to back off, they'd already committed so many abilities in there that there were opportunities from other players to step in because like all of the CC had already been used trying to control this Doomfist.
Indeed, it wasn't. It wasn't the only weird thing we saw out of Spoiled Milk. A lot of the Winston Zarya combination coming out from them, particularly on the Barney. We saw it at the end there on Hanamura. That's eventually what got the job done, and it worked.
I'm starting to think that the Zarya was less for the main tank and more for that Doomfist, because again, like if Combo Breaker is eating all of this CC, a good way to answer it is just stick a Zarya bubble on him. You can't CC him. So it might have been there to enable the Doomfist rather than the usual thing of enabling a main tank. That might have been, and then of course the Winston can still dive in and try and assist the Doomfist, although we didn't see them operating together all that often. So
more of a two-pronged approach.
Yeah, more of a two-pronged approach, but it was definitely working, and it's not something you usually see. So I can understand really struggling to deal with it.
Indeed. And for the side of Smoothbrain, we did see some great play. I was particularly enjoying watching Murasaki play. Coming up really well on the Mei, getting a lot of blizzards. Also on the Sombra, as you said, shutting down Combo Breaker quite a bit. The hacks were heavily focused on that Doomfist. And some great EMPs in concert with those self-destructs from Boone. I mean, that was just so much fun to watch. It's just it's a shame it didn't turn out better for them.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely a strong team. We've seen they've got some great team play, and I'm looking forward to see how they throw up results against some of the other opponents here, because I think the 3-0 doesn't really do them justice. In the end, like Spoiled Milk had their number, and they were never quite good enough. But a lot of the time they were putting up some great performances, and it was just that one time that Smoothbrain got through the guard, and now you're all dead because that's what Doomfist does. It's just how he works. He either throws or he carries. There's no middle ground with him.
Well, I certainly know which one I do on Doomfist, and leave that up to the viewer's imagination. But any parting words from you?
Well, I'd just again like to from these teams. No, I think we've seen some great games tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going forwards.
Indeed, and speaking of what's going forwards, if you want to keep it in tune, on track, up to date with anything Ascent, make sure you're following us or liking us or subscribing to us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. That's AOEsports. Join the Discords, both of them are linked below the Twitch stream, or you can visit our website, aoesports.com.au, to find all those links and any other information you could possibly want on Ascent or the other competitions run by AOE. And also, I'd like to reiterate our thanks for everyone who supports the Ascent. My Republic, Australia's #1 retail service provider for gamers who want a top MPN service, and also Splash, Apollo, and Bloodborne.
Absolutely. On that note, we'll be back next week for the next round. So thank you all. Take care. Stay safe. And we'll see you all real soon.
Yeah, with it.